Steve Shuff here with Bello Dimora Group of Keller Williams Louisville East on behalf of the entire team, bringing you a quarterly review of what's been happening in our Louisville market and surrounding counties. Very interesting things here over the last quarter. Let me jump right into it. Only going to take a couple minutes of your time. So the first thing I want to show you here as we look at this bar graph right here, this is pricing distribution. So we are looking at the last quarter, January, February, and March. And this is broken down into $50,000 increments. The left side here is the number of units that have closed. This is the sold listings. As you can see, the most popular and most closed price point exists between 150 and 200, followed by 200 to 250. What that means is that this is the pretty competitive price range now. As we look at the new listings that are on the market for the quarter, and these are new listings that came on over the course of January, February, and March. Same thing, 150 to $200,000 is the highest listed price point with the most number of units, followed by 200 to 250, and you can see how the rest of it breaks out. But this is good to know. However, what does the competition actually look like? Let's add in under contracts. So if you notice, the blue line is under contracts. That blue line right there, that dot right there, exceeds the amount of new listings that came on in the first quarter in the $150,000 to $200,000 price range. Same for 200 to 250. You notice here as you get into the upper price points, 350 and above, it starts to change a little bit. Anytime you see that under contract bullet point right there rise above the new listings, then that means that there are more buyers in that price point than there are new listings coming on the market. Two things are true. The competition is steep for new listings and older listings. Listings that have been on the market for a little bit longer, they are also selling as well. All right, total number of homes for sale in the price points, and these are currently for sale over the quarter. That is the distribution. Again, 150 to 200. Okay, let's look at some key metrics here. These are secondary indicators of the market. Again, we're looking at this previous quarter, quarter one versus quarter four of the previous year. The black line is quarter one. So quarter one of this year, our average days on market. How long did a property sit on the market before it sold? It's 30. 30 in quarter one versus quarter four, it was 22. Now, if you're like me, you're probably going, well, that doesn't seem right. Properties are flying off the shelf. Yeah, that's what it seems like, but this is an average. So the truth of the matter is that's not the case in all price points. That's not the case for all properties. So there's enough disparity between those that sell in a matter of days versus those that take a little bit longer to give us an average of 30 days on market. Our average, this bar right here is our average list to sale price. What that means is it's a percentage. Where did a seller list their home and where did it ultimately sell for? The last quarter tells us that sellers were getting 97.54% of their list price when it sold versus quarter four of the previous year was 98.37. So that is down 0.83%. Again, if you look at what the reporting is and what the media says, and probably your friends and family, you're probably hearing that you have to go out there and make at list price offers, if not over. That is true in some cases. However, because this tells us the average, the story is a little bit different. So it's possible that with some great negotiation, you can get that down 3%, but always rely on your professional to tell you what might be best for your goals and your strategy. Let's kick over to some details. This gives us a little breakout of where things are versus where they were. So under contracts, a different representation here. So under contracts for the first quarter were 4,676, 4,600 versus 4,100. So the under contracts, more properties went under contract in the first quarter versus the fourth. And check this out, new listings. They were down a little bit, but close enough that it was almost even. So even though we had more sales in the first quarter versus the fourth quarter, the number of new listings came on were kind of even. Again, that means a little bit more competition, which is what we saw from that first chart. Now, this is the most exciting part for me. What I want to show you now is the trend line. Now, this encompasses the entire last year, the last 12 months, going all the way back to March. Now, what we see here is the total number of properties for sale over the course of the months. If you can see how this works here, so total number of properties for sale back all the way in March of 2021 was 3,500, a little bit over 3,500. Fast forward to this past March, you got 3,200. So there are less homes on the market today in total for this past March than there was a year ago. And you can see how this wave is. Now, what I love looking at here is the new listings. This is what I watch to predict trends, and I can interpret for you what this is so that you can decide when might be the right time for you to make a move. New listings this month, this past month in March, was just under 2,000. New listings in March of the previous year was just over 2,000. We are right back to where we were at March. What you can't see is this dip right here into December and then back up into March looked exactly the same for the previous year. So if you could see on the front side of this March here, it would dip down and rise back up just like what you're seeing here. So it is safe to assume that we'll repeat something that looks like this as we go into the year. However, my prediction is we're going to see a few more listings come on the market in April than we did April of last year. Let's find out and see if that's true. But check this out. The number of properties that were newly listed is the red line. The under contracts, properties that went under contract in a particular month, is the blue line. The one thing that is so important right here that I want to point out is this area right here, starting here, there is a gap between the new listings that came on in that month and the number of properties that went under contract. It's about 200 different, right? As you continue, the buyer's activity stays stable and yet the listings increase. So this is supply and demand at work. So when there's more listings available and less buyers, we get that 97% list to sale price. We get that action going on right there. But watch what happens. Everything starts to drop off. And this is, by the way, a record low listing and sale month in December. But look how it comes back. The new listings and the under contracts are trending right with each other. It's actually so close, it looks like it's the same thing. That right there is a huge difference. Even though it's a couple hundred units, that is a huge difference versus where we were this time last year. So the thing to keep in mind here is, number one, if you are thinking about selling or in your process of selling, based on the numbers for your neighborhood, what this trend line is saying is that you stand a very good chance at getting your list price, if priced correctly, and or over. The competition is up. Great market to be a seller right now. Could this change? Absolutely. If buyers stay the same and listings go up, now there's more competition and you're less likely to get the number that you're looking for. However, if you're a buyer, one thing that's unique about what's happening now versus where things were is that this right here, especially as it compares to new listings, this buyer activity is extremely competitive. So one thing that you have access to as a buyer and a seller, because you work with us and are in our world, is we can grant you access to a list of office exclusive properties. You can't find these properties listed anywhere online. They are held within our brokerage, and because you work with us, you have access to these properties. That is for buying and that is for selling. It's an extremely convenient way that the majority, if not all of our clients are choosing to do, because we're able to control the market, we are able to control the timing, and we can get you as a seller exactly what you want with your price point, as well as if you're a buyer, give you access to properties that the general public does not have access to, and therefore you're not competing. And so this is how it looks. It's a really exciting time in real estate. The best time to buy and sell is when you are ready and when you need to do it. That has been your quarterly recap. I look forward to bringing you more information in the future. And on behalf of the entire Bello Dimora group at Keller Williams Louisville East, I've been Steve Shuff. Thank you for watching.